North Ridgewood Road in South Orange, New Jersey. We will begin by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this happen just as we have hoped and wished. Now the Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, conscience are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that Samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, O son of the family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. We generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's teachings, the degenerate mind for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the misery of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, we shall recite Om Mani Padme Hum, a rosary. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So, Om Mani Padme Hum is the mantra of compassion. Today, in what His Holiness is teaching us, which I think we reached page 73. Yes, correct. His Holiness is defining or preparing us for this cultivation of compassion, cultivation for empathy, and the this wish to actually remove the suffering that we perceive that others are experiencing, and that he introduces us to the Tibetan term ninje, which, though usually translated as compassion, contains an element of profound concern and for others, and this wish to remove what it is that others are afflicted with. So this ninje is the essence of, I don't know that we can say that it's the essence of the Buddhist path, but it's the essence of the Mahayana path. It's the essence of the path that leads to the state of full enlightenment, where we can actually act upon this quality of compassion, ninje. So, on page 73, the fact that we can indeed enhance, so we ended with the attitude, it follows, therefore, that if we could enhance this capacity, our sensitivity towards others' suffering, the more we did so, the less we could tolerate seeing others' pain, and the more we would be concerned to ensure that no action of ours caused harm to others. So this is the sort of quality that we're working at cultivating. The fact that we can indeed enhance our capacity for empathy becomes obvious when we consider its nature. We experience it mainly as a feeling. And as we all know, to a greater or lesser extent, we can not only restrain our feelings through reasoning, but we can enhance them in the same way. So the idea is that this quality of compassion, or this quality of concern for others, can be developed, can be enhanced by training. Our desire for objects, perhaps a new car, is enhanced by our turning it over and over in our imagination. Similarly, when, as it were, we direct our mental faculties onto our feeling of empathy, we find that not only can we enhance them, but we can transform them into love and compassion itself. So let's discuss this a little bit. The whole idea of taking this, taking a mental quality, a mental attitude, and enhancing it by means of considering, thinking.
Reasoning. He uses the word reasoning, which I think is powerful. And that's the thing that can change you. We can, to a greater or lesser extent, we can not only restrain our feelings through reasoning, but we can enhance them in the same way. So it's not just thinking it's over, thinking over it's a reasoning thought. That's something I think that's, I don't know, he always says, what does he say? Analyze, analyze. He's always saying it.
How does thinking become feeling?
How does thinking become feeling?
Habituation. I mean, the more you're thinking about something, or the more you're doing something, the more instinctive it becomes.
Habituation. Another word for what? Meditation.
For me, I feel like the thinking creates a kind of view, a kind of atmosphere. And for me, it's more like with that atmosphere, I can manage my feelings. But there's not so much of a sense that the feeling, that the thinking becomes the feeling. And I've had the experience where you can talk about compassion for a long time and not necessarily be compassionate.
But if you think about the suffering that so-and-so is, and if you think more deeply and you consider the person's karma and you consider the person's situation and you consider all aspects of the situation that person is in, that's thinking. Does that not affect might it not affect your heart?
It might.
When your cat was suffering and eventually died, did you feel anything when that was
Of
happening?
course.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking about it.
You weren't thinking about it.
I mean, I was thinking about it practically, sort of like what I should do.
Yeah. But was that one and the same, the feeling and the thinking?
No.
No. So where did the feeling come from?
I'm seeing this being who I knew for 14 years suffering.
So when you asked us to pray, we had to think about the cat, to then develop those feelings of empathy, that was it was a thought process.
Okay.
So when you say thinking here, you mean like generating in your mind and like a kind of empathetic understanding of what the other, let's say, sentient being is experiencing, right?
So you generate that empathetic feeling by means of a thought process, by means of what Tony clarified is a reasoning process.
Right. So you think like, okay, they must be feeling pain, and now you know what pain is, so you can imagine what that feels like. They must be scared. So you know what fear feels like. Yeah.
And all those thoughts and those recognitions of emotions that we have familiarity with generate a feeling of empathy, a feeling of, and that can lead to a feeling of even responsibility for engaging in whatever actions we might be able to engage in to relieve that. No?
So I mean, the chain here is that you bring up a discursive thought about, okay, this is what, like just words more or less, this is what the being must be experiencing. So then that becomes converted into empathy, as in you know what that feels like, so you can imagine what it is like for them. Then I'm just describing this, like I could, this could be wrong, but so then because you would presumably have either just were born with it or cultivated it, the understanding that, you know, their suffering is just as real as yours.
I'm going to stop you with when you said you're either born with it or you've cultivated it, and suggest that even if you are born with it, you will have cultivated it in order for it to.
Yes, yes. It will. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that was it.
So that will turn it into a feeling of compassion, right? Where now you feel the urge to do something about it, and once you feel the urge to do something about it, that can lead to the other stages that you were referring, right? But like that's the sort of chain, right? Discursive thinking into empathy, into compassion.
So thought, I mean, His Holiness often says that analytical meditation is the most important kind of meditation to engage in at our stage. It is the method by which we bring our hearts or minds to that point of wishing to remove, feeling empathy and wishing to remove the suffering that we perceive. And love, wishing to provide others with what they need. But I think it's mental. It is that mental process that by which we are able to engage.
Yeah, I think what you were saying before, it's like in the cat question, we had to think about it, but we could just not think about it and go, oh, that's too bad. Or we could go, wow, that really sucks. And think about, you know, I have cats. I've lost cats before. I know what I felt like, wow. And that, it's a completely different thing. Like, sorry for your loss versus, wow, that hurts.
And it is by means of thought. I mean, the concern, bless you, the concern the wish, when we have a suffering friend who's close by and we have this real sadness and feeling of wishing that we could remove their suffering, that that sort of instinctual feeling we have for those that we love and who are there is greatly infused with attachment. But there are qualities of that are selfless, and then there are qualities that derive from our attachment. What we have to do, and it's by means of a thought process, is enlarge that to encompass people whom we don't have that kind of attachment towards, people whom we dislike. That's very important, and that is a thought process, and we work towards bringing it to a point where thought is not necessary, where we have this innate feeling, but to get it from that instinctual feeling that we have towards those whom we are attached to a sort of broader scope of compassion demands analytical meditation, which demands thought.
But from the Tibetan Buddhist point of view,
As opposed to?
maybe what we would call a more Western.
Okay.
A mind encompasses thought and feeling.
Okay.
Whereas I think from the Western point of view, when we talk about mind, we're generally talking about thoughts as opposed to feelings.
No, but the thoughts are accompanied by some kind of feeling. And we are using thought to develop deeper feelings. I don't think we need to make a distinction between this idea of feelings and thought. We are trying to generate feelings by thinking. That's what analytical meditation is. It's working towards developing certain feelings and making them instinctual, developing innate feelings of concern, of empathy. There are those people who seem to have that, but as I suggested, that's something that they have come to by means of this work. And
So not innately.
in this life,
Yes.
they have an innate quality of empathy that hasn't come about without its having been cultivated, is what I'm suggesting.
In the long time, in Hobby's center where I studied a long time, they used to call emotions supercharged thoughts, feelings and emotions. Those are super, of course, the Western instruction, but there's some idea there. And underneath it, it's a result of you turning over, like, when somebody did this, he did that, all of a sudden you're bursting out in anger. Look at it that way. Or the attachment way. I want this, I want that. But then there's a force bringing.
But if we want to view it strictly from this life and the right now work that we have to do in order to cultivate our empathy, yes, thought is the tool by which we develop our hearts and expand our hearts.
It's like not having empathy is a real trap, right? Because if you don't have it, it will be very hard to convince you that you need to develop it.
Gosh, that's an interesting. Can you expand on that? And
catch-22.
I mean, I think it's a common theme. So we're talking Buddhism here, right? So within Buddhism, it's a common theme that like the lower realms are kind of traps, because once you're in them, it's very hard to get out, because the process of getting out is hard to even realize that you need to do it. So I mean, like, not having empathy seems like a similar thing, because then what you would need to do to get out of that is you would need to convince yourself that empathy is good and that it is important to develop it, and then you would need to kind of sit and think and put, and like anything like this, it's real effort. It's like very hard in the beginning, right? And that would be hard to do. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just kind of a comment.
so I think that, if we've come here this evening, we have some kind of feeling of, we have more than just, the normal empathy that anyone has when they are experiencing a sick person or animal that one loves. We've come out of some wish to actually develop that further. If not, there wouldn't be any point in your all coming to the Tibet Center. I mean, the food is very good.
The camera talk is very important. You learn how to purchase the right.
In other words, yes, I think that one does, there has to be a wish to enhance these, whatever the qualities are. And I do believe that that's what makes someone sort of search, which is what brought me to the Tibet Center. And I, or would take someone to engage in the practice of his or her faith tradition. It's some wish to support or cultivate some kind of a quality that I think essentially is, one could say, love, or love and compassion, I sort of feel, are the two sides of the same.
I'd say personally, when I'm not compassionate, it's because I'm not thinking. And the more that I slow down my thought process, the more compassionate I can be. So for me, it's a matter of slowing down my thoughts. That's just personal. Instead of making a snap decision, saying something that would be knee-jerk. You know what I mean?
Well,
No.
I guess it's sort of the same thing in some respects. Slowing down your thoughts.
Or applying them, but
Yeah.
being mindful.
taming the mind.
I guess the worst possible thing you could do is you could sit there and think about how to hurt somebody, which does happen.
No, I mean, without talking about harming someone, I think we all engage in this sort of materialistic thing of trying to find the perfect object of desire. And that's a process of, let's say, enhancing attachment by seeing that object has certain perfections, and we invest in that object qualities that seem to really be inherently there and out of that grows our desire, our attachment.
We're putting those qualities there, you would say.
No, a well-made car or camera, we could even say.
No one mentioned it. No, seriously, that's what we're bringing. It's all us projecting a value that's not there, or it's going to do this or that for us. I think,
no, what I'm, without even going towards, seeking some kind of inherent quality, just the enhancement of desire by means of recognizing qualities, even qualities that are, on the conventional level there, you are enhancing attachment. You are cultivating an afflictive emotion. So it's not that the thought process is necessarily virtuous.
Right.
So, but this is the essence of analytical meditation. This is what it is. And it's, the bringing emptiness into the picture, the fact that we are not inherently fixed, that our minds are not as they are, is wonderful. It means that we can actually change. It means that that our future is in our hands. We can bring about a change in attitude. We can bring about a change in demeanor. We can bring about a total change in who we are by this process of analytical meditation. That's pretty exciting.
It doesn't mean that you have to understand that, like people, we will have beliefs about like, I am this way, and the fact that that's changeable doesn't mean that this I am this way, like the I am part is not really true, right?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what that is, that may not be super easy to do. Like when you say I am this way, like depending on what this is referring to, it could be like a pretty tightly held thing.
I think we all know people who say, I have a temper, this is the way I am.
Right, but that's not true.
They think it's true.
Not only do they think it's true, but the people around them know it's true.
It's not true in the sense that it is not a fixed property of some fixed entity thing.
So establishing that it is not a fixed property of some fixed entity thing is very important. And that's why, we bring into the picture this here. I do think that there's a sort of uniquely Buddhist quality to the examination of self, of the existence of self, and the recognition that there isn't a fixed inherent me that has a bad temper and that is therefore unchangeable. And as we work on ourselves by means of analytical meditation, we should also work on ourselves becoming more and more aware of, clear about the interdependent nature of our being, and therefore the changeable nature of us.
Constantly changing.
And that's all done by thought. That's a thought process. a thought process that doesn't only change our emotions, it changes our whole relationship to the world.
Becomes experiential. How do you say?
Experiential.
Also, when it comes to anger, I am angry. I said that a lot. And at some point in Buddhist practice, there is anger instead of I am angry. And right there, thought changes the feeling. There's so much you can get angry about. And if you say, I'm angry, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you say, oh, there is anger, then you can sort of stop and examine it and hopefully tamp it down a little bit. Still working on that part.
You're depersonalizing it, in other words.
Yes.
More scientific.
Well, as soon as you've said there is anger, that's the first step. Recognizing the afflictive emotion is essential in the process. So,
Can I just interject?
No, it makes me so angry when you do that.
I just have to say, I think there's many people who would say it isn't just done by thought. I think in Western psychiatry and psychology, one of the most prominent books right now is The Body Keeps the Score. In other words, real transformation, they say, comes from being present to what we experience in our body, both sensation-wise, but also feeling-wise, which would be being able to say to oneself, I am sad, I am anxious, I am angry, I am happy. And that for many people, saying those simple things or just experiencing those simple things is something they've avoided a lot of their lives.
You're not admitting.
Yeah, like using
I am
thought
confused.
to avoid recognizing that you're just sad in the moment.
And then what?
So if you develop the habit of thinking to avoid that basic recognition, then it certainly doesn't seem like thinking more is going to help you.
You're saying acknowledge, in other words.
Yeah.
All right.
That's self-compassion.
Yeah.
I get the body thing, but that's fine.
So-
Doesn't the mind have to take you to the next step, though, even if you feel it? It's your mind that's going to carry you from that. Even if you physically feel it and emotionally go through it, then you think, okay, and now I can get over this.
But does mind mean thoughts or does it mean awareness? Like,
Well, I would take it as the analytical meditation as you're thinking through it.
yeah.
So even if you feel it and experience it,
Mm.
then you can analyze it and move forward with it.
Yeah, I think that can be part of it. But I think it also, that can be used to avoid.
But once you analyze deeper,
Yeah.
you realize I'm avoiding this and this is actually what I'm doing. Maybe I'm just,
Yeah, yeah. But if it's sort of, I'm just pushing
we-
back on, if you think enough,
Yeah.
you can change your feelings.
I think the thoughts
Yeah.
have to be correct.
we tell ourselves a lot of things, right? And then analyzing it might chip away at that and say, actually,
Yeah.
this is what's really going on.
But you can, I do think Mark is correct in that, like, you can use thinking to reinforce incorrect beliefs.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can use thinking to develop attachment to something.
Yeah, that was your point earlier. I mean, that's why we read books to know which thoughts to think in the first place.
Well, and Mark, you asked, I think you said the difference between awareness and thought.
Mhm.
isn't sort of awareness of this conventional reality, and then we use thought to get to ultimate reality where we're aware and we perceive ultimate reality.
When you were talking about we have to acknowledge our feelings of sadness, of anxiety, of anger, whatever it is, that sort of emotional recognition of the recognition of the emotion that we are working on as a first step. And I think that's very important. I think that to acknowledge that we are angry or that we are sad is a really important first step. The technique that we are exploring is one of then applying a thought process to transform that, to change that. And I think that the acknowledgement of sadness, for example, that's a thought. You have the sadness that you're feeling at some sort of instinctual level, and then you recognize that I am experiencing sadness. That's what you're saying that we should do. I think that's a thought process. There's a thought process that...
That's the conclusion. I feel this way, then we have to understand. Is it a correct conclusion?
I think without acknowledging it, that those sorts of feelings like I'm sad or I'm happy or whatever can morph into other emotions, right? So if you're sad and you don't know why and you're not thinking about it, you could easily become angry. So I think the
Frustration goes through things.
yeah.
What do you do when you acknowledge you're sad, I'm nervous, I'm this, then what?
Well,
What's the therapy?
yeah, I think
Just
just
announcing
like Vincent just said, if you can come to a point where you say it makes sense that I'm feeling these things or have some understanding,
there's a reason for this.
then that can calm you down, I think.
You've tried it and it works. Sign up new people.
That sounds like the four foundations of mindfulness, right?
Go ahead.
The what? I'm sorry.
The four foundations of mindfulness. Like it's sort of I think, as I understand it, is a foundational Buddhist practice where you just kind of observe what is going on in your body and mind, and you just like watch it to understand it as a causal process.
What are the four?
What are the four foundations of mindfulness?
I think it starts with body.
Yeah, it's body, and it's some of the other skandhas. I'm trying to remember which one is not included.
Feeling is included.
The consciousness is not included, right?
I think it's body, emotions, thought,
Feelings
and then dharma or something.
Yeah, sankara, yeah, the formations.
But feeling is one of them, I know that.
We're using the Google.
No, I'm using Google.
He knows. He wants to see if we know. I promise you, he
The
knows.
Eugene method. Go right to your phone.
I have resisted doing
I'm not gonna do it, that's silly. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So as such, I'm going to reread this last. So when we direct our mental faculties onto feelings of empathy, we find that not only can we enhance them, but we can transform them into love and compassion itself. So So that process of, directing, when we direct our mental faculties, that's a thought process. We with consciousness or conscientiousness are directing our mental faculties onto the feeling of empathy. As such, our innate capacity for empathy is the source of that most precious of all human qualities, which in Tibetan we call ninje. Now, while generally translated simply as compassion, the term ninje has a wealth of meaning that is difficult to convey succinctly, though the ideas it contains are universally understood. It connotes love, affection, kindness, gentleness, generosity of spirit, and warm-heartedness. And it's interesting because ninje, which the sort of formal and natural translation of which is compassion, a Tibetan, when seeing a sick dog or a dog with mange or something, would say ninje. In other words, I think that ning is the heart and je is the development of heart. So it's this sort of generation of the heart, of this sort of loving attitude, which includes this wish to remove the suffering that the person you are having this generation of heart towards, or the being. So that's the quality, and people say it. In other words, it's we don't say, oh, compassion, or oh, it's not part of the, it's not a word that we don't really, have a word that we, we might think, oh, poor thing, but that has an element of pity, while ninje is this opening of the heart towards someone or some being.
Time that terrible dog came out. You were with us, visiting Marjorie in the hospital, and this creature came out of the sewer, and everybody's going, we're outside eating. There was a sewer grate there. And this creature came out.
Creature.
Yes, part bug and part, it was a large bug. Everybody's going, oh, like, and Rinpoche said, should give meat? Which we feed this thing?
Yeah.
Immediately, without thinking.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, ninja, I guess. Anyway, body, mind, feelings, and phenomena. Four mindfulness.
What are phenomena?
Dhammas.
Huh?
Or the people go to dhammas, the way things work, dhammas. But the working of things. So we can go on and on with that topic. It's a big one.
So when you feel pain or suffering, you have a natural urge to remove it from yourself, right? You don't need to cultivate that. That's just you're just born with it.
But that comes out of an attachment to
Right,
self.
right.
And a conviction that I exist inherently.
Right.
I'm invested in that.
Ninja, can you describe it as having a similar feeling towards the suffering of someone else, of another being? Would that be an accurate description of what?
Well, ninja contains within it this wish to remove the suffering that some other being is experiencing. You don't talk about, this compassion, self-compassion, you don't hear about in Buddhism. Compassion is towards another.
Right.
You can have concern for yourself, self-love, self-respect, the elements that are necessary in order for one to function and to function effectively, yes. But compassion and ninja is towards another sentient being.
Right. I mean, I I wasn't trying to like construct the self-compassion thing. Like you, I was just asking if I kind of understood you correctly, like how you're trying to convey the kind of cross-lingual meaning, right? That like compassion is not really a proper translation of ninja.
Well, let's follow His Holiness' words. Now, while generally translated simply as compassion, the term ninja has a wealth of meaning that is difficult to convey succinctly, though the ideas it contains are universally understood. It connotes love, affection, kindness, gentleness, generosity of spirit, and warm-heartedness. What's not being mentioned here is that it connotes this it provokes, let's say, this wish to remove that what the affliction that is being experienced. It is also used as a term of both sympathy and endearment. On the other hand, it does not imply pity, as the word compassion may. There's no sense of condescension. On the contrary, ninja denotes a feeling of connection with other, reflecting its origins in empathy. Thus, while we might say, I love my house, or I have strong feelings of affection for this place, we cannot say, I have compassion for these things. Having no feeling themselves, we cannot empathize with them. We cannot therefore speak of having compassion for them. Does that sort of fill it out?
Yeah, I think I understand.
So, yeah.
Sorry, what's the difference between sympathy and empathy?
I don't really know. I don't. I think
The class will tell you the military definition of sympathy.
I think empathy is like a deeper. It's like a deeper investment in a shared feeling of the suffering being experienced.
Yes, sympathy is, I know what you're going through right now. Empathy is wanting you not to go through it.
But maybe that entails also feeling what you're
Yeah.
that.
It's a lot less intellectual and a lot more emotional. Empathy. It implies so much more of a connection. Not just, I understand what someone's going through. You can be sympathetic because I've gone through that. But to be empathetic really is to make a much deeper connection and feel it emotionally.
Somebody should look up the Greek.
I think empathy might be just a more equal level. Well, I know how you're feeling. I felt that way, right? You know, but what he's saying here is that he's implying that pity has condescension in it. So I think it's creating a separateness, maybe. That I am doing well, but I feel sorry for you who's not doing well. It's a little maybe different that way.
But pity and sympathy are not necessarily the same thing, right?
Pity. Oh, I see. I was using the word. I'm sorry. I was referring to pity, not sympathy. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, we're trying to find meanings in certain words, but in our thought process, in our meditation, we should work beyond those and really emphasize the meaning, the sort of feeling of this quality of our hearts going out and our wish to remove that perceived suffering, that and perceived and felt suffering, shared or recognized suffering. So I don't, we can talk about the words, but I think that we all understand the feeling that we're discussing when we talk about ninje, but that is something that has to be cultivated. And to, we've been talking about having this feeling of compassion, empathy, sympathy towards people who are suffering, in, let's say, grosser ways. And we have to bring that attitude of ninja towards those who are suffering in more subtle ways. And we have to bring it towards all sentient beings, recognizing that they are all stuck in this belief in and a self that causes them to engage in actions that cause them suffering. And it is that level of ninja that we have to actually work at developing in our meditation. We cannot simply have it, as I said earlier, towards those we love. We cannot have it towards those whose suffering we see on a sort of, I'm sorry to say the word gross, but maybe a better word would be coarse level. We really have to develop it towards the suffering that is experienced at these more subtle levels. And then recognizing that what causes people to be born and reborn and engage in actions that then cause them suffering is this grasping at a sense of self and developing a compassion, a feeling of ninja towards all these sentient beings who are experiencing and being motivated by that self grasping. That's what we have to work towards. So that's your homework, okay? I think we've reached. Oh, before we stop, does anyone want to say something? Do you have a? Okay. So we at the end of class, we usually pray for someone who has died, and that's a rather coarse level of suffering.
The man who was self-immolated, today's his 49th day. All the Tibetans are out there praying for him. Forgot his name. The Tibetan guy. Does anybody know his name?
Good shot. I don't know. Ask. He's not around.
We can all think of the person who's self-immolated and all others who are.
What's going on in the world? Yeah. It's strikes, everything.
So we shall recite the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He's the king of noble ones. He's the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His wisdom is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He's completely liberated from suffering. He's completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He's completely cut the knots. He's completely liberated from extreme torment. He's liberated from craving. He's crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavad. The Holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously, they are worthy of veneration with joined palms, they are worthy of receiving prostration, they are a field of glorious merit, they are completely capable of receiving all gifts, they are an object of generosity, they are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberated from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So let's read the foundation of all excellence. The kind Reverend Lama is the foundation of all excellence. Seeing that dependence on him is the root of the path, may I rely on him with great respect and continuous effort. Human life with religion is obtained once. Understanding that it is very important and hard to find, may I produce unceasingly the mind that takes it up and reads it. The fluctuation of life is like a bubble of water. Remember death, for we perish so quickly. After death, the effects of black and white karma pursue us as the shadow follows the body. Finding certainty in this, may I always be careful to do only virtuous deeds and abandon even slightly non-virtuous actions. The door to all misery is seeking satisfaction in the pleasure, having realized that there is no security in the pernicious perfections of samsara. May I be strongly intent on the bliss of liberation. That pure thought produces the great heedfulness of remembrance and discernment. May I accomplish by this means the essence of the individual vow, which is the root of the doctrine. Having seen that all beings, my kind mothers, have fallen like myself in the ocean of samsara, may I practice full Buddha mind, which assumes the obligation of free all things. Buddha mind alone, without cultivation of the three moral practices, does not lead to enlightenment. Having realized this, may I practice with intense effort the Bodhisattva vows, by quieting attraction to objects that never fools, and analyzing the meaning of reality. May I quickly produce within myself the path that unifies tranquility and insight. When by this practice I become a vessel of the general path, may I soon enter the great gateway of the fortunate ones, the Vajrayana, supreme Udyanas. The basis of achieving the two cities is the pure vow one takes on entering this path. Having found real understanding of it, may I keep this vow though it cost my life. Having realized the significance of the two stages, which are the essence of the Vajrayana, by unswerving effort in 4 sessions of yoga, may I achieve what the Holy Dhamma has told.
May the spiritual teacher who has shown me the good path,
And all my spiritual friends who practice it have long lives, may I at last completely surmount all inner and outer obstacles. May I in all births enjoy the glorious Dharma, inseparable from the perfect Lama. Having completed this stage of the past, may I quickly obtain the high state of Vajrayana. So now let's read a prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lasantu Wando Jachana. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great tortured doctrine accomplishing from long ago the last waves of aspirational prayers. Lord of speech of Victor Lasan's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activity of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tempe, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wishes with swift blessing of the reincarnation's free face. So this Saturday, here in South Orange, New Jersey, we will have a White Tara Sadhana, which you are all welcome to. 1 o'clock here at 502 North Ridgewood Road. If you're coming from New York, you can take the 12:11 train and then just walk up to us here a few minutes away. Thank you.